Hi, everyone. Welcome to Get Well with Dr. Shel. I am Dr. Shalina Lalji, better known as Dr. Shel, and I know as a board-certified OBGYN and a functional medicine expert, your health is unique and deeply personal. It is a combination of genetics, lifestyle, and environment. Know this, no matter what your starting point is, you are never powerless over your health. Being on a health journey is a marathon, not a sprint. This podcast is about walking you through many different perspectives on health conditions, symptoms, and solutions that can help you get from fatigued to fabulous. My mission has always been to offer my patients and community the best of mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. You can learn more about me and my wellness center and schedule your telehealth appointment at drshel.com. We can support you no matter where you are in the world. This podcast is a powerful and simple way to carry the wisdom of thought leaders from around the world in your pocket and continue to develop your own healing journey every single day. So let the journey begin. Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Navigating Life. This is a special series of stories and lessons inside the Get Well with Dr. Shel podcast. Today is so very important. We are talking about self-care. I'll cover today what is self-care. I'll also give you some shocking and very important statistics and also share my story and offer 3 takeaways to help you get on the right track so you can take care of yourself. First and foremost, just please realize that self-care is vital to all of our existence. And when I was preparing for this podcast, because I always like to share great information with my listeners and viewers, I looked around to see what is the definition of self-care that people think is out there and people can find out there. And I saw many different things. But the most important thing to realize, right, is self-care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting our own well-being and happiness, in particular, and this is very important, during periods of stress. And the other thing that's really important is self-care is self-defined. So you have to define what self-care is to you because it really truly is different things to different people, right? We also must remember that you have to really try to identify what fills your bucket. So it's personal. No one else can define what self-care means to you. Yes, in a general fashion, self-care does mean protecting oneself, protecting one's mind, one's body, one's spirit. And the most important thing that, I struggled with, and I think a lot of us struggle with, right? Because we're moms or dads or daughters or sons, or, we're employers and we're entrepreneurs, and wherever we are in life, wherever we may be in life, whether we're working for somebody and we've got to get that job done, or we're trying to take care of other people, or if we're a caregiver for somebody who's very ill, we need self-care. And sometimes we struggle, well, gosh, if I take care of myself, am I being selfish? And I want to tell you that when you think of self-care, do not ever have that word enter your realm of thinking, because there is no such thing as selfishness. What you have to think of, self-care is self-preservation. So please, from this day forward, you've got to change your vocabulary and only think positive thoughts and think of self-care as being self-preserving. All right. So with that being said, I want to kind of really just keep pushing that term in your mind, because when you think about it that way, you will be very, very optimistic and feel really good about taking care of yourself. So that's number one. Please, please, please think of it as self-preservation. Now, I'd like to kind of tell you a couple of things about self-care. First of all, its benefits are very importantly, physical, mental, and emotional health. It improves all 3 of those. It also is known to be something that promotes self-healing if you're going through something. Research suggests that self-care promotes positive health outcomes, such as fostering resilience, living longer, and becoming better equipped to manage stress, which all of us have experienced tremendously since the year 2020, and it continues to go on. So we're all surrounded by stress. So if you experience and if you practice self-care, you're going to be better equipped. For those living with a chronic disease, such as heart disease or cancer, and this is, as a lot of you know, is my story. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in October 2019. So if you're living with a chronic disease, practicing self-care may actually help you, because it's been shown it helps patients with managing symptoms, bolstering other aspects of health, and improving emotional well-being. And when your body is balanced and well and stress-free, your body can tend to heal itself, because your body is an amazing, amazing piece of equipment that God has created, and it is a self-healing modality. So self-care can self-heal. All right. I think it's also important that we remember that when I say self-care is self-defined, there are many different things that you can do that are examples of self-care. And I'll get to that even a little bit later, but I'll just point out a couple of them. You know, it could be journaling, it could be a 20-minute nap, it could be a walk in nature, it could be eating better foods and feeding yourself better nutrition, it could be exercising, it could be yoga. It could be spending 10 minutes with a good friend and just talking, or just being with them and holding their hand. Self-care is self-defined. And this is, again, something that I'm going to continue to emphasize. So self-preservation, self-defined, two very important points. I'll share a little story because I want you to know that self-care is not something that ever came naturally to me, as it doesn't to a lot of you who are listening. Unfortunately, we are raised, especially us women, and for the men that are listening, you're listening because it's an issue that you're struggling with as well. With us, we have never really focused inward. So in my story, 4 years ago, some of you may have heard my story before, and I'll just share it here because I think it's important to put it into perspective. My husband, my sweet, darling husband, Ayaz, at the age of 51, was diagnosed with what I believe is one of the absolute most devastating diseases in the entire world, Lou Gehrig's disease, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. You guys all probably know it from the Ice Bucket Challenge. This is a condition that robs an individual of every single motor function that we humans have, whether it be the ability to walk, the ability to talk, to move, to write, to do anything for yourself independently, to eat, to swallow, and down to the ability to breathe, because it affects even the diaphragm muscle. And so individuals with ALS get to the point where they are completely locked into their bodies. So if you just think about that, if you just take a moment and just close your eyes and don't move, and imagine there is a fly on your nose and it's really bugging you. It's just driving you absolutely crazy, but you can't move your arms. You can't move your shoulders. You can't move your neck. You can't do that. You can't do anything. You just have to sit there until somebody, your caregiver, comes and notices that fly and gets rid of it. What if you had an itch and you can't even communicate the itch? So the person taking care of you doesn't even know that you have this. This is what we have been dealing with my sweet, darling husband. And I'm his caregiver. You know, yes, we have help. Thank goodness we didn't for the first year and a half, because, you know, I had this model. I could do it. I can do it. I can take care of my husband. And my husband had probably one of the most rapid forms of ALS that large institutions like the Mayo Clinic had ever seen. And when he was diagnosed in late 2017, they literally told me that he would have 6 to 9 months. Now, a lot of you know that I'm a functional medicine physician, and I like to get to the root cause of every single chronic illness. And so that's another story for another day, what we did for my husband. And you can find that story if you're interested on our website and and on the ALS Heroes website. But for today, what I'm emphasizing is if you have a loved one who you're a caregiver for, like I was, and you feel like you have to do everything that you can to save this person's life, to take care of them because they can't take care of themselves, I'm here to tell you, you will not be able to sustain that unless you practice self-care, unless you practice self-preservation. This was a very, very tough lesson for me to learn because I'd always been raised to give, and then give some more until I have nothing left. And I spoke about self-care to my patients for the last 20 plus years, but did I ever practice it during the time that it really mattered? And I'm here to tell you I didn't. And then guess what happened? October 2019, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. Now you're going to ask, well, is that related? Absolutely, it's related. Because due to all the stress that I put my body through, no sleep. I mean, I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. My cortisol was off the charts. I was constantly stressed. I lived, all of us did, in fear and anxiety because we all had no idea how long this journey was going to last, how long my husband was going to be with us. This is something that is super, super, super bad for you, bad for your body, and your body just does not, this is not what your body is made to do. So after I got diagnosed with breast cancer, it was God's way of saying, I give you permission to take care of yourself because now you have no choice. Now you are the only healthy parent to your 2 children. I have a son and a daughter, Zoe and Zaid. Now I am going to tell you this is what is crucial and vital, and this is something you must do. And that's when I practiced self-care. That's when I incorporated a lot of things that I'm going to share with you. And please remember, when you're thinking about self-care and you think, well, yeah, but now's not the time. Well, yeah, I know I'm listening to Dr. Shel, but she doesn't know what I'm going through. I know I'm listening to Dr. Shel, but I don't have time. I don't even have 5 minutes. I'm here to tell you, you do. You do, because if you spend that 10 minutes or 5 minutes or half an hour on you today, you're going to be so much better for your loved ones, for your children, for your work, for your clients, for your employer, for your family, for your parents who are aging. You're going to be so much better for them, and you're going to maintain your health. So it's really a win-win. Research shows that the core aspects of self-care contribute to 60 to 70%, okay? 60 to 70% of chronic diseases that we know in this world. Dr. Wayne Jonas told Healthline this particular information, and he also said, most people understand what the basics are that they need to do in order to be healthy, or in some cases, even reverse illness. And they also understand it's not easy to do, so they need help in that area. And that's why we're talking about this today. I'm here to help you. I'm here to tell you I've been in the ditches, completely in the ditches. And this is somebody who really taught self-care for the last 20 years. Because when you're going through that stress, when you're in the storm, when you're in the tornado, like I was, and like a lot of you might be, self-care is not on your radar. You're just trying to save somebody's life. You're trying to heal somebody else. You're trying to hold them up. And you think, well, gosh, this is not the time. I'll do it in 6 months or 3 months or next week. Please learn from my lessons. Please learn from my experience and my cancer. Do it today. Do it today. Imagine if you also get chronically ill. Who's going to take care of your loved ones? More than 9 in 10 physicians say that self-care should be considered an essential part of overall health. And 88% of patients agree with that. So why is it that very few of us actually put it in practice? Additionally, an impressive 85% of physicians agree that a large part of their job, our job as physicians, is to provide both medical treatments and self-care practices for their patients. According to the Pew Research Center, in 2015, and this is really interesting because, I'm in my 50s. A lot of you, I don't know how old you are, and I hope that all different ages are listening to this because all different ages need to practice self care, and we need to start this for our children at a young age. According to the Pew Research Center in 2015, 10 billion with a B was spent. $10 billion was spent on self care products, and the majority of that was spent by millennials. That's people the age of my daughter. What's even more interesting is that more millennials reported making personal improvement commitments than any generation before them. Millennials spent twice as much as baby boomers on self care essentials such as gym memberships, workout equipment, eating healthy, life coaching, yoga, meditation, and the list goes on and on. Why is this an important point? The reason this is important is we think, you know, as somebody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, we are so wise. Wow, we've experienced life. We know what kind of advice to give each other and the younger generation. The truth is, in the area of self care, we're way behind. We are so way behind. And whether that's a cultural thing or that's, our generational thing, it's a combination of everything. But the point is, the younger generation have it right. They actually have it right. They take care of themselves. And sometimes we say, oh my gosh, millennials are so selfish. No, millennials are self preserving, and they will end up with fewer chronic diseases. They will end up with less cancer. They will end up with less neurodegenerative diseases. They will end up healthier and happier. They may not have the big houses and the fancy cars, and then they may, but it doesn't matter. That's not what they're focused on. They're focused on experiences, life experiences, and they're focused on their health and well being. And this is crucial. So we do want to learn from our kids. I want to leave you with 3 takeaways today. Number 1, the younger generation has it right. They are not selfish, they are self preserving. So define your essentials. What I mean by that is today, and please, 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 it's only going to take you 5 minutes. When you finish listening to this podcast, make a list. Make a list of what your self-care buckets are. What makes you feel rejuvenated, refreshed, nurtured, nourished, and just at peace. It is different for every single one of us. It is unique because we're unique. What might be massage to one person may be a nap to another person. What might be eating a healthy meal to one person may be having a little time with their friend for another person. It's very unique. So please today, I want you to make a list and do at least one of those things today. I hope that you can honor that request that I'm making of you. Takeaway number 2, I'm going to share my own self-care modalities, and I would like to share this because it's important that you have some examples and then you can customize your own. My daily routine consists of body, mind, and soul. And I've just learned this about myself. I have to be able to do something for myself physically, mentally, and spiritually on a daily basis. And it doesn't have to be long, but I have to check all 3 of those. That's just me. So if you don't have a daily routine yet, use mine. Try it. So tomorrow, do these things in the morning. And for today, try and do them now. Now, what the first thing I do when I wake up is I open my eyes. And when my eyes open, I mentally, and if I have the ability to, I'll grab a little notebook that I keep on my nightstand. I'll write down three things that I'm grateful for. So it's my way of praying to God, and it's my way of connecting with the universe and saying, thank you. Thank you for X, Y, and Z. Could be small, could be big, it could be anything. But I start my day with that because when I do that, it puts me in a very positive frame of mind and it takes away that cortisol rush that I may have had because of stressors. I have stressors, I have a ton of them. I run my functional medicine practice. I see a lot of ALS patients, which is a privilege, but it's also very heavy on me. I take care of my husband who has ALS. I take care of my kids. I have cancer. I am cancer free now. So I should actually say I am cancer free, not I have cancer, but I have to work on that on a daily basis because I know those little cells are just waiting for me to mess up. And so I have to stay positive every single day. And that practice of gratitude puts me in the practice of positivity. So I start with three things that I'm grateful for. Then I do a calming, deep breathing meditation exercise. If you're new to meditation, I would advise download my favorite app called Calm. It's not very expensive and it's free if you don't do the paid version. And there's a daily calm, and I just turn that on and I just close my eyes and I do deep breathing. The breathing exercise I like to do that you could follow is it's called a square breathing or rectangular breathing when you're getting better at it. So it's 4 seconds, inhale, 4 seconds, hold, 4 seconds, exhale, 4 seconds, hold. And you repeat this 4 seconds, inhale, 4 seconds, hold, 4 seconds, exhale, 4 seconds, hold. If you do this, I promise you, even for 2 minutes, with your shoulders down, with your eyes closed, with your hands just kind of in your lap, open, not closed, open, you're just going to feel totally different. So try to download that app. I have nothing to gain from it. This is just one of my favorite apps. There are others, Insight Timer, there's Calm, there's Brainwaves, there's Heart Math, but Calm is very easy. So I do that. And then I do at least 5 and optimally 15 minutes of stretching and yoga. Again, my favorite app for that is Down Dog. You can customize it. You can do beginners. You can do 5 minutes. You can do 15. You can do an hour, whatever you want to do. So those are the three things I do. I do things for my mental status, which is my gratitude. I do breathing, which is my spirituality. And then I do my stretching or yoga, which is for my body. And then I'm ready to start my day. And then I just hit the ground running because I have to, but I've given myself that time. And when I have time during the day, I'll go for a walk, I'll do something in nature. So I have a lot of different things that I have in a list. I actually have this list. And when I feel like I have 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I look at the list and I say, okay, Shel, go do this. So you can do this for yourself. Takeaway number 3, community and support. Now, I'll tell you why that's important. That is important because we all need people. We all need people who care for us, who love us, who are there for us. Make that your tribe. Make a list of those people, whether it be friends or family members, who you can call 24/7. These are your middle of the night friends or family members. And today, if you can, please do reach out to them by text or phone or email and thank them. Thank them for being your tribe. Share that they are on that list that you created and tell them where you are and what your needs are. With that, I want to say thank you so much for listening. I have made a couple of requests of you because you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to people like myself and so many others all day long. But if we don't implement what we've heard, and trust me, it's only going to take you 5 minutes, Make a few lists. List number one, make a list of what your buckets are of self-care that will nourish you. List number two, who are those friends and family members that are your community? And list number three, and take whatever you've taken from me, my different routines, and implement those. Make a list of things that you enjoy doing that nourish yourself. Thank you so much for listening. Please take care of yourself. Please remember it's self preservation. Please remember if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for making time for today's podcast with Get Well with Dr. Shel. I know that this conversation and education can help you to create your best life possible on every level. So definitely tune in to hear the newest expert and learn the latest protocols to support your best health journey. You can learn more about me and my wellness center at drshel.com, drshel.com, and I hope that you will make time to come visit us in the Houston area to take a deep dive on self-care. My team and I are completely devoted to helping you live a better life from this moment forward. The best days of your life are ahead of you, I promise. This podcast is a powerful and simple way to carry the wisdom of thought leaders from around the world in your pocket and continue to develop your own healing journey every single day. So let the journey begin.